it's the story of the day. It's been the story of the weekend. Everybody's talking about it, so we don't need to be any different. Let's continue this Andrew Luck conversation. And, Rob, you and I both agree, look, it's Andrew Luck's life.
Right.
He can do whatever he wants, even if he were healthy.
If he decided he didn't want to play football, right, that's his business.
Right, totally, especially when a guy's walking away from that kind of money.
Yes.
Like, then you really can't question him. You know what I'm saying?
No, right, because it's not. We said it earlier. It would be worse to stick around and just take the money and not play.
Yep.
That's
he
worse.
He could have strung fans along. He could have strung the organization along all season long. He really could have. And he didn't do it, so kudos to him. But somebody that's been getting the pass, because let's face it, Andrew Luck has taken a little bit of heat at least. The fans in Indianapolis have taken a lot of heat, and I believe deservedly so. You know who hasn't taken much heat, at least that I've seen?
Who's that?
Ryan Grigson, and more to the point, the Indianapolis Colts franchise.
Right, their organization.
Yes. Ryan Grigson was the GM for the Colts up until a few years ago. They got rid of him finally. But he did not protect his investment, Rob. You and I are both sneakerheads.
Yes.
When I get a pair of Jordans, I take care of them.
I want you to know I was gone for 10 days. I did not buy a pair of Jordans.
Really? I know you bought a pair of shoes.
I bought one pair of sneakers. Rob
Gucci?
G just no Gucci or anything.
You bought sneakers, what?
Just some workout sneakers, some Nikes, all black that cost $40. That's all I bought on the trip.
So that's good.
That's real good for me.
You won't be upset when I buy you a pair of $40 Jordans.
No. I want the real deal. Rob G, he owes me Jordans, doesn't he? He should just get it out of the way.
But anyway, Rob, you know what I'm saying. When I get a new pair of Jordans, I don't go clean the yard in them.
Right.
I don't go play basketball in them, to be honest, even though they're basketball shoes.
They're to walk around in.
Right.
Sport.
I get them to sport. I take care of them. Clean them up if they get a little nicked up. Why didn't you do it with Andrew Luck, Ryan? You did not put an offensive line in front of him. Check out these facts. From 2012 to 2015, Ryan Grigson drafts 3 offensive linemen before the 7th round. Hugh Thornton, cut before his rookie deal was over, never played again. Jack Mohort, I don't even know if I said it right. I never heard of him. Jack Mewhort reached the end of his rookie deal, never played again. And Khalid Holmes, cut before his rookie deal ended, never played again. And they had an expensive defense during those years. But their offense was the second least expensive in the league in 2014 and the 4th least expensive in 2015. They did not protect him, Rob. And again, you hate to blame anybody in a situation like this because it's unfortunate all around. But if the Indianapolis Colts build properly around one of the greatest quarterback prodigies we've seen, prospects we've seen in the last 20 years, then he would still be playing today. And they'd have a better chance to win a Super Bowl.
And when you look at some of the other stuff where he's been hit and sacked more than anybody during his span, right, in the NFL.
Yep.
Also, what is it, 2015, 2 of their 5 guys up front, undrafted. They're like, walking in off the street.
Think about that.
When you have a quarterback of that caliber, man, you cannot be rolling the dice and hoping they're going to protect him.
No.
And I think that's where the Colts made their mistake, and it took a toll. It just took a toll on him, and it's hard for me to knock him after going through what he's been through and saying, I can't do this anymore.
No, I'm with you. We saw it with David Carr. He was a nice prospect, the older brother to Derek Carr.
I remember, yep.
Really good prospect. I'm not saying he was Andrew Luck. He wasn't. But we never got to see what he could become.
But let's do this. Forward spin. And he played much better this past weekend. Kyler Murray. But Chris, he might be in the same exact situation where he's on such a bad team with such a bad offensive line, could they stump his growth? Could they beat him up enough? You know what I mean? He's already of smaller stature and all that already.
Rob, if he could not take the type of pounding Andrew Luck took, or Derek Carr.
Those are big guys.
Right. Andrew Luck is a big guy.
He's a big guy.
And you can't just say, I mean, obviously he's not as mobile as Murray, but he was an athlete.
Right.
Luck could run. He could run by guys. He had a few moves. You know, he was athletic. He could run the football. So you can't just, I mean, heck, look at Cam Newton. It's kind of another one. I mean, he's obviously played, 8 years now? I mean, Luck played 7, I believe. And Newton is banged up. And that offensive line hasn't been good. That was one of the most disappointing things about watching the Panthers last week, Rob, when Cam got hurt in that, I believe it was a Thursday night game.
Right.
It was that all I've been hearing in the offseason was that Carolina's offensive line had improved.
And think about this.
And he gets sacked 2 times in 3 series, and of course injured. And the thing about it was only an ankle injury, we believe, not too serious, but he's starting the year already banged up.
And think about how big and strong he is. He's not a frail guy.
Yep.
So you're right. Kip, so that's what's scary. If I'm Kyler Murray or his people or his family, are they going to protect this guy and give him a chance to succeed in the NFL, or are you going to have another situation of maybe a guy just not being able to be protected early on? And so far, and I said he played a lot better. But so far, the Cardinals look like a bad team. Would you agree with that? They look like they're going to be bad.
It's going to be bad. They are going to be bad. I don't think they can protect him. I mean, I'm not hoping he gets hurt. I'm certainly not hoping he gets hurt. And I don't want to go there and predict that, but he's going to be running for his life.
Oh, no doubt. That's what it looked like when they played the Raiders. The Raiders bought the house, if you remember.
And why wouldn't most other teams do that against them? And so, Kyler, you have to protect your investment. And look, you can look at the NFL now, Rob, and see offensive linemen. That's what you have to get for your offense. To me, that's your first order business. We know quarterback's the most important position. But after that, as much glamour as the receivers and the running backs get, if you have to take care of that offensive line, because there are a lot of dudes out here that can run 4.5, 4.4, 4.3 40s. They got moves, they got vision, and you put them behind a great offensive line, and they can do some damage.
And here's another thing that just came out, breaking news. The Patriots starting center is out, Chris, with blood clots, so he's going to miss time. What is that? That might leave Tom Brady open. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
That's Tom Brady at 42. You just can't have those kind of holes or whatever. I don't know who they have as their backup or what they'll do, but
you know what they do in New England. You know what they do. They reload.
What? Oh, I thought you were going to say they were going to cheat.
That too, but they reload.
they're gonna tie the 2 of the players together, like tie the center with some string so that you can't get through them.
I'm not worried about the Patriots. I'll tell you that. I'm
just
not
saying,
worried about the Patriots.
But that's a big
offensive
line, spot, right? You can't leave Tom Brady.
That's the hub of your line.
Yep. No, and people don't talk about the offensive line because they're nameless and faceless.
Right.
Chris, other than looking at a guy at a restaurant and seeing how big he is size-wise, right? You don't know who that is. Football players walk around all the time. You have no idea they play in the NFL.
Not at all. Here's another angle to it, Rob. They're not letting you hit in practice anymore for the most part. The guys that are probably most impacted by that are the offensive linemen. Like defensive linemen, defense is easier to play than offense. Okay? Offensive linemen have to get in sync with one another and not just against air. They have to go against bodies. And I've talked to Mark Schlayworth about it, our colleague at FS1, who was an offensive lineman, Super Bowl winning offensive lineman. And he and others think the offensive line play really suffers because they don't allow you the physical contact in practice that they used to. The skill position players, obviously, you got to brace yourself and get ready, be able to absorb hits and get used to that. But still, for them, it keeps you fresh, right? And for the linemen, and so watch that early in the season, maybe the first month of the season, are quarterbacks running for their lives.
And will they be more at risk?
Yep.
Because these guys aren't ready. That guy's name is David Andrews. He could miss the whole season. He has blood clots, Chris, in his lungs. So that's very serious. And, of course, they have to monitor that. And that's a big blow.
All right. Well, like we said, look, the Indianapolis Colts are not blameless in this situation. Obviously, Ryan Grigson has been gone. They've got a new GM. You can't, and they actually put together an offensive line now, and they got it right now. But obviously, it's too late to save Andrew Luck and his career for the time being. So what do you think? How much blame does the Colts front office, or at least their previous front office, deserve for all the injuries that forced Andrew Luck into early retirement? It's your turn to weigh in. 877-99 on Fox. Let's get to the calls.
All right, let's start with Marty in Kentucky. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's happening, Marty?
What's up, Chris and Rob? How y'all doing this Magic City Monday?
You know
What's
it,
up, brother?
And you know they were happy to see me, Marty, when I was in Atlanta, right? You know it.
Oh, yeah. I want to throw a shout-out to Sean in Sacramento. I heard him earlier. I appreciate that. I enjoy his takes as well.
He mentioned
we
you.
bringing folks together.
I know.
Yeah.
The Odd Couple.
That's right. That's right. That's what it's all about. That I would 100% blame the coach, general management, Grigson, and ownership, Irsay, and at the time Irsay had the drug situation,
right?
And he was obviously not thinking straight.
He had his own issues, right?
Yeah, they didn't protect their investment. They gave up their Peyton Manning retirement tour to get this commodity, which was great, and they didn't protect it. It's just very, it was poorly done, and it's been done in the NFL many times. Many guys never get heard of. You got the Tim Couches that went to Cleveland, and other guys like that a lot of people don't even know of. This guy was such a superstar. He made a stamp even though he never had protection. And when he finally had a defense and an O-line, it was too late.
No doubt about
that's
it.
That's how great he was, Rob.
Oh, yeah.
He went 11-5 his first 3 years in the league.
No, they were.
Despite really not having a line, and that's probably one reason they took him for granted.
Absolutely, because they were getting by.
Right.
Thanks, Marty. Appreciate it. How about Bruce in Atlanta? You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Bruce?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for getting me on. I totally disagree with what everybody has been saying all day, and I'm going to sum it up how Cameron said it and paid in full. People get hit every day, B. Let me let you know something. When it comes to Andrew Luck, this is all a result of the big money contracts that have been going to quarterbacks, and there's a little privilege in this. He comes from privilege. It came a point where he was like, why do I have to do this? People have been getting hit in the NFL.
Not like him.
No, Bruce.
Very few have gotten hit like him.
And have had as many injuries as he has,
Yep.
Bruce. I think you're wrong. This is not a guy who just got a bump on the head the first day and said, "Oh, I don't want to play football anymore." This guy's been playing football for a long time. And go look at his medical chart.
Here it is.
Go
Rob,
look at
it. Is. Torn cartilage in 2 ribs, partially torn abdomen, lacerated kidney that had him urinating blood.
Yes, go ahead, Chris.
1 concussion at least, a torn labrum in his throwing shoulder, and now the mysterious calf and ankle injury.
So
come on.
Don't make it like he's a big baby and he's a privilege. He's been beat to blank, Chris. He's been beat to hell.
Right.
He
and
has
let's
been.
face it, a lot of these quarterbacks are from privilege. Was Tom Brady from the hood?
Right. Stop it.
I mean, come on. That happens.
How about Patrick in North Carolina? You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Patrick?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Rob, now just hold on to yourself here because I'm going to say something. For the first time in the years I've listened to you and Chris, I have to agree with what Chris says for the first time.
First time?
What?
For the first time.
I'm wondering about you
All
now,
right, go ahead.
man. What
Patrick's my
first
man.
time?
Patrick's my
No.
man.
Wow. You
No,
just got a text from Rob.
No, he ain't getting no text from me.
No, check it out, guys. Listen, what Chris said, I believe 100%, and I agree with him 100%. Andrew Luck, when he came into the Indianapolis Colts, they did not give him the offensive line to stay protected with. And the man, not a boy, let me rephrase that. The man took a beating. He took a beating, but yet he delivered what he had to do. He won games for his team. He led his team. And yet, year after year, they're drafting these 6th, 7th round offensive linemen. Very seldom do they develop into an offensive line that you want. They should have used their picks to get the offensive lineman early. I mean, you look at the running backs that come out late in the rounds, and everything, and they just did not protect him. And I agree with what he did. He's like, why should I put my body through this anymore? I don't agree with it. And one more point, I do not like what the Indianapolis Colts fans did by booing him for the simple fact, yes, they were upset. But you need to take into fact, listen to the facts before you put the boos on the man. Look what he did for your team while he was there. He was a leader. He was a community leader. Me personally, I am a Panthers fan, but I loved to watch Andrew Luck play. But I hated to see him run for his life.
No, I get it. And Patrick, we're going to talk about that in the next hour, about the fans' reaction and stuff. We're glad you mentioned that. Thanks for the call. What about Jay in Detroit? You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Jay?
Rob, good to hear you again.
Thank you,
man. I agree with the caller before this past caller. Andrew Luck, the way he played, he chose to take a lot of hits. He's a big old dude. Other people have had a lot of physical punishment, and as you play, you learn to avoid
Jay.
Look, I'll give you, he was a physical quarterback.
He's a big guy. There's no doubt about it.
He wasn't afraid to run and take some punishment.
But Jay,
run into guys.
Jay, don't poo-poo what he's been through. I'm sorry. Anybody's going to sit here and tell that he's a privilege and that's why he can't take he's been through hell. I'm not going to buy into that. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Rob, in 2016, his pressure rate when he was pressured was 44%.
No,
44% of the time he dropped back. Think about that. That's basically half of the throws you drop back for. You got pressure.
Right, and
it's crazy.
People to try to act like he hasn't been through anything. I think that's misguided, and I think that's wrong. All right, let's squeeze in Mark from Sacramento. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Mark?
What's going on, gentlemen?
How you?
What's happening, man?
Hey, real quick. I got a chance, lucky enough to see Andrew Luck living here in Sacramento when he played out here. And I'm going to tell you, man, they didn't put anybody worth a damn in front of that guy until last year. He took more hits than any quarterback. And those callers are saying he chose to get hit. Don't nobody choose to
Thank
get
you.
hit.
Nobody.
What's wrong with you guys? That's great.
No, you're right on the money.
You guys have a good one.
Thank you.
They've got to look in the mirror, the Colts. You know, when they get over this shock and all that. And look, you said it, Rob. You think they might have a decent season. Frank Reich, I think, is a good coach.
Yeah, he has been so far.
Right. He's worked with a lot of great quarterbacks. Peyton Manning, obviously Luck, Phillip Rivers. So maybe he'll be able to work with Jacoby Brissett. But they got to look in the mirror and say some of this is on us. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I totally agree. And if they don't, they're going to ruin people coming there down the road to say, I don't know if I could trust that organization to protect me.
Yep. All right, Rob, we've got our man in. He's so excited to be on the Odd Couple, he called in early. So he must have plenty of nuggets to drop for us. It is none other than the man genius, Eric Mangini. What's happening, man?
What's up, E?
How you doing, guys? Yeah, I couldn't wait. I was ready to go like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, he thinks he's going to get on me, so that's why he couldn't wait.
I'm sure he will. You heard us. You probably caught the end of our conversation. We were saying, look, the Indianapolis Colts have to look in the mirror. And we know Ryan Grigson is no longer the GM. But they didn't protect their investment. You got this great prospect, one of the
good
honestly
young
one of the best
yeah.
quarterback prospects we've seen. and they don't put the offensive line in front of him, and that's really a big part of why he retired this weekend. What are your thoughts on that? Are we off base, or do you agree?
Well, look, I have a couple of thoughts on this. I always believed that they should have kept Peyton Manning for another year. I think that would have been the first thing I would have done, to let Andrew sit behind Peyton and learn behind Peyton. And you saw what ended up happening, Peyton leaves and goes and wins the Super Bowl. So I think that would have been the first thing I probably would have done organizationally. The second thing, and this is an ongoing debate that we're going to have, or we always have, and you're going to see with Kyler Murray, is when you play those young guys early, they don't always understand the difference between, what's necessary and what's just bravado. So they take these hits to get 3-yard gains instead of getting rid of the ball, and it's a learning curve they go through, and sometimes it's worsened dramatically in some cases if the O-line isn't very good, and their O-line wasn't very good. So it's a combination of a lot of things that I think could have been done better in retrospect, and you also got to look at the medical staff. This is 2 different injuries now that were misdiagnosed. Or
that's malpractice, basically. I mean,
well, I'm just saying you've got the leg component and you got the shoulder component. So
right.
in 2 different seasons, they couldn't figure out what was really wrong or how wrong it was. And look, I hate to kill anybody without being there and knowing what's going on, but when you have 2 major injuries to your star player that aren't diagnosed and handled properly, you got to take a step back and say, okay, what can we improve here? What can we do better so this never happens again?
Do you expect, Chris thinks there's a chance that he could come back and play
a few years from now?
I don't believe it. I think when a guy quits and he's in that situation, I think it takes so much to be able to quit something you've done your whole life and had success with. I don't think he's going to play again. What about you? Where are you?
Ted Murchabroda, the great coach that I worked with in Baltimore, used to say never and never say always. And I think that when you're in a situation like Andrew's in, where he's gone through such a difficult process and he's really had to make a decision that I'm sure he never intended to, never wanted to, and was incredibly difficult, it looks one way now. But as you take a step back and have some time, he's been playing football his whole life, probably since he was a really little boy. Maybe a year out where his body feels better and he looks at things differently and he takes a step back and says, okay, I want to give this another shot. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. However, I do think he is a deeply thoughtful person.
Right.
I don't think that he operates impulsively, and this was an agonizing decision that I'm sure would be hard to go back on.
Hey, Chris, let me jump in real quick. Eric, which one you think was bigger or more shocking? Andrew Luck's retiring from the game, or Barry Sanders? And the reason I say I think Barry Sanders, because he wasn't injured or there was nothing wrong with him. He just decided he didn't want to play football. Which one ranks higher to you as the most shocking?
I remember when Barry retired. That was really shocking. I think it's a little bit different in the sense that, Barry was a great player on an organization that couldn't capitalize on his greatness.
Right.
And I'm sure that was incredibly frustrating. Andrew Luck was a great player that was driving the organization's greatness. And really, they were in a position with a franchise quarterback, with a young team, with lots of cap room, with a front office that was dedicated to building towards a draft, to be in a position like the New England Patriots to compete for a championship every year. So I'd say by virtue of the position and by virtue of the impact of the position, I'd have to go with Luck.
We are joined by former NFL head coach Eric Mangini right here on The Odd Couple. All right, Eric, how good do you think they're going to be? As you said, a lot of people thought they might get to the Super Bowl. Obviously, they've got some great players around Luck now. But with Jacoby Brissett in there now, I mean, are they still a threat to win that division and make the playoffs and make a run, or you think that's a tall order for them now?
I think that division is interesting because everybody seems to be a little bit stuck in neutral. Everybody seems to be trying to get out of their own way to some degree, and then also have some great things about their team. I'd say Houston with Deshaun Watson, and hopefully where he's is in his development, and the fact that they had been healthier going into the preseason prior to the injuries to Lamar. I still like them a lot to win the division.
Where are you with Cam Newton? I mean, should we be concerned about him? I just can't believe from where he was when he won the MVP, put up that unbelievable season. They were 15-1. They went to the Super Bowl and they lost. But it just seems like he's going the other way. Will Cam Newton be that guy again, or is there a chance, or have we seen the best of him?
That's such a loaded question now, Rob, because we started with Andrew Luck. The question was, should we be concerned about Luck now that he hasn't shown up in a few weeks? So
right.
Look, I think anytime you have some consistent things happening or, consistent struggles, at some point it goes from being an aberration to being a pattern, and you don't know quite when you jump the shark there. Do I think he has the potential to get back to that form? Yeah. One of the things I really liked in listening to Cam this offseason, I watched some videos about the way that he was approaching training and the way he was approaching his nutrition and studying and things like that. There seems to be a level of continuing maturity, which is, to me, a big part of the battle. So do I think he could get back to that? Yeah, I do. I do think it's a struggle for you to change your throwing motion at this point in your career because you've got so much muscle memory. And once you add tension and anxiety and the pressure of a game, you tend to default back to what you know. So if he can stay along this path and continue to develop the throwing motion, there's a chance. It's just we haven't seen it under pressure yet as to whether he can maintain, what he's trying to do.
Eric, the three quarterbacks we've mentioned recently, Cam Newton, Deshaun Watson, obviously Andrew Luck, they've all been hit a lot, because of their offensive lines. I've talked to some guys who have said of all the groups of players that suffer the most from the new rules where you can't really have a lot of contact in practice, they think the offensive linemen suffer the most and are the most behind, if you will, when you start the regular season because they aren't able to hit like you used to be years ago, and that stunts their development as far as getting ready for the season. Is that fair? Is that true?
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. And the other thing with offensive linemen is there's a lot of development that goes into them, and oftentimes O-linemen come into the league and they get on the practice squad, and they some of the down-the-line guys that end up being great players, because of the consistent work that they're able to get into practice, they become really good long-term players, and if not starters, excellent backups. So when you do have those guys go down, it's not such a huge drop-off, but you don't have that same opportunity to develop those guys to that level. So it does become a real issue, and it's balancing protecting the players with also putting guys that maybe aren't as prepared as you'd like them to be out there, which then puts other players at risk.
Right.
Eric, we got about 30 seconds here. I've been saying Tom Brady's going to fall off the cliff. I saw the video.
For the last 8 years.
I saw the video on Instagram with him and his daughter when he fell off the cliff and took her with her. What year do you expect from Tom Brady at 42, especially after horrendous Super Bowl he had? What do you expect?
Rob, at some point in this long tenure with Tom Brady, you're going to be right. So I think if you just keep picking this every year, probably in the next 3 or 4 years, you're going to be right. That whole season, you're going to go, I told you so.
You already know. I'm going to be on. Beat my chest.
Eric, great stuff as always, man. We always appreciate it.
Are you going to be on with us this year, or what's the deal? Do we know yet or no?
Hopefully we'll see how the scheduling works out, but it'd be nice to be out there and I don't know how often you want me out there, Rob. But
we'll be all right. Absolutely.
But yeah, it'd be great, and I'll come back and visit you guys on the show sometimes.
All right, sounds great.
Thanks, man.
All
See
right,
you.
guys.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks.